Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. It was Jim Schwartz. Oh, Nate, what do you think of that?
Spot on. Spot on. DK is mad because the coach who coached me went up to him and said something that made him a little bit hot. You know, I like the fact that, one, DK is willing to put that out there.
Yeah.
Because usually players keep that to themselves. A coach walks up to them, and they'll keep it to themselves, and they won't say anything. Two, I know Schwartz. I don't know if he is saying that to get into his head. I don't know if he is saying that to make him mad. But Schwartz, Jim, I'll just say you might want to leave that dude alone, man, before the game. Now, to bring it back full circle, DK isn't Calvin Johnson. He's not close. Is he one of the closest things to mimic Calvin Johnson? Yeah. But it took Calvin Johnson 6 or 7 years before we respected him as the best receiver in the game. It took him 9 years before we looked at him and said, please don't retire, CJ. So for us to look at DK and tell him that, he understands that, which is why he was calm and said, I'm not trying to be Calvin. I'm trying to be DK. But I'll tell you this, and this is just a warning to all coaches. Please do not go up to beasts like this and poke the bear.
What a story.
You know, Jim Schwartz is going to be asked about this. And it could have been like, hey, Calvin, you know, I used to coach Megatron. You keep working, or hey, DK, you keep working, you're going to be just like him. And it could have been that. But he took it and ran with it. This is why I'm kind of triggered by it, though. Do you remember what happened the last time DK Metcalf went to Philadelphia? Like, in the playoffs, he had 160 yards against the Jim Schwartz defense.
Most ever by a rookie.
Ever! And literally, watch this at the end of the game, catches it downfield, is going to get up and wave goodbye to the Eagles fans, of which there were allowed back then, and eliminate the Eagles from the playoffs. So Jim Schwartz got shredded by DK the last time he saw him. To approach him in any way other than you're the man, I'm going to just suck up to you right now, would be a really strange strategic choice by a guy who, as we know, is no wallflower. So maybe he did go up to him and talk a little junk. That was probably not the best move. Ask Darius Slay. He did the same.
Yeah, look, and the truth of the matter is, I looked through 2 years of their career, Nate. DK Metcalf's numbers hold up against Calvin Johnson. Is he not the same Hall of Fame? He's going to lead the league in receiving yards? I don't know. And break records? Who knows? But I wouldn't have poked the bear either because he absolutely shredded them when it mattered most, especially on that deep pass. And last night, he was incredible. Might be a bigger story in Philadelphia than it necessarily should be, or it's just a typical story with the Eagles this year. Like, what are we doing? Just stop.
Or did DK learn something from watching Michael Jordan's Last Dance and heard a compliment and flipped it and turned it around and used it as motivation? I'm really curious to do a deeper dive. I would love to hear from Jim Schwartz, but I want to hear further from DK. Was it Jim Schwartz saying, yo, like you said, Kyle, yo, DK, you're good.
Heck of a player.
Yeah.
Calvin Johnson is a different level, but you're going to get there.
Let's talk about this.
Have a good game. I'll see you afterwards.
Let's talk about looking at the playoff picture. Seattle waving goodbye to the Eagles and moving up, guys, to the 2 seed in the NFC. The Eagles dropped to 3-7-1, still within striking distance in the NFC East. Nate, right back to you. A lot of teams stumbling and disappointing performances in Week 12. The Seahawks got the job done. How do you feel about Seattle, your other former team?
Yeah, we love the question here on the show. Who do you trust? Who do you have more confidence in? We get that question once a week, maybe once a day. I trust Russell Wilson when it comes to times like this. I know we were having this conversation about the Seattle Seahawks, and there was panic across the NFL. You know what? Russell Wilson doesn't look like an MVP. You know what? This defense can't stop anybody. You know what? The NFC West is too loaded. And what did I tell you? Calm down. We got time. November, December, I trust Russ. And that's exactly where we are. November, December. And I trust Russell Wilson as much as I trust any quarterback in the NFL.
In the NFL. Okay.
In the NFL, period.
23-17, and it felt like it was 100-0. At no point in this game did it even feel close, and that's a testament to what the Seahawks do. Yesterday, we came on the air and we talked about how the Arizona Cardinals had it all in their hands, and then they travel to the East Coast, and they have a young quarterback and a first-year coach, and they get stuffed at the line when it matters most, and their kicker's missing field goals. And that East Coast trip was vexing for them. Somehow they lose to a Patriots team that had 80 yards passing. We talked about the Raiders. We celebrated their near victory against the Chiefs and said, okay, well, now they're taking on a 3-7 Falcons team. They're going to roll. No, the Raiders, they couldn't handle the East Coast trip. This could have very easily been the Seahawks last night. Instead, the Seahawks, who have a quarterback with a Super Bowl ring and has been there and done that, and a bunch of guys who have won playoff games and a coach that is headed to the Hall of Fame, packed their bags, watched the rest of the league on Sunday, and did not let that happen to them. They went to the East Coast, and they did exactly what they're supposed to do. They handle their business time and time again, whether it's at home or whether it's on the road. This could have very easily been one of those trap games, and there's bigger games on the schedule.
Yeah.
No. We're going to the East Coast. We're taking care of business. We're getting back on the plane. And we're going to hold it down in the NFC West.
I also think they have the most supreme force going on right now. I'm talking about they have a Damian Lillard type. They have the guy who hit the shot. I don't even think it's Russ. I think it's DK. He showed me something last night that I've never seen before. All the broadcast talked about all night was DK versus Darius Slay, DK versus Darius Slay. DK was the Jake Paul in that equation. Believe me, it was that one.